Hey Raz, how's it going? Hey Terrell. Oh, I hate friggin' lawn maintenance. Hate it with a passion. Only because that's all I did growing up. That reminds me, you just reminded me I got to spray my lawn down. I didn't even do that yet. It's starting to grow already, so. I wanted to get a gas lawnmower too, I still didn't even do that yet. Never ends, there's always something to do. Yeah, you know, you do what you gotta do for extra cash, which I don't blame you. It's just, I hate landscaping. I hate it with a passion. It's just because that's all I ever did as like a summer job and everything. So, yeah, Terrell, we did the mesh last week. Oh, I guess you weren't in stream last week? So yeah, I pretty much got the frame up and I did a basic locking it in place. So just gonna add some more now. I'm sure a lot of it will get chopped out, but it's a good starting point. It worked out pretty well. And the good thing is, like, when stuff sticks out, it doesn't like stick into your finger so much, so it works. Yeah, as a kid, I used to have to cut my lawn, and I used to have to cut the next door neighbor's lawn, the old ladies. I wanted to do it for money, but my mother was always telling me not to take money from her. But I'm like, screw that. If I'm cutting lawn, I want money. So the lady would give me at least like $5, $10 back then. I mean, I should have been getting more, but whatever. And then after that, when I got older, I went into landscaping with my uncle, his business. And then I did landscaping with another guy. And just when I went to art school, I was like, that's it. I'm never doing this stuff again. I hate landscaping. But as a kid, you make good money though. Back then you made way more money in landscaping than you did at like ShopRite or working at the mall, you know. I mean, yeah, I used to be able to do people's lawns and stuff and get more money, but my mother would always tell me not to take money from the old lady. But I'm like, screw it. If she wants her lawn cut, but you know, back then you had to do what your parents told you, you know. So I had to do my lawn for my parents' lawn for free because that was chores. You don't get paid for chores. And then I had to do the lady next door. But I made the bulk of my money though in shoveling snow. That's kind of where I really made the money. But when I got older enough that I could work with my uncle, all I did was I was the grass bitch basically, where I would just collect the grass in the bucket, you know, the garbage bin, and put it on the truck. I was too young to actually officially use lawnmowers, but when I was home, I could use a lawnmower, you know. So, but I mean, I was cutting lawns with him like at 10, 11 years old. So, working for a business, you really weren't allowed to be doing it, but whatever. But then when I got in high school on summers is when I used to do the landscaping full time, and I just friggin' hated it. I wanted to work at like a ShopRite or like a mall, but my mother was like, "No, you're working with your uncle. You're working with your uncle." You know, so I was forced to do it. Like all my friends were like working at ShopRite, or they were working at Pathmark, or some of them were working at the mall. You know, I'm out there in the sweat my ass off in the summer, and they would just have like, you know, their hours for the week and get to go down the shore, and I'd be working 7 days a week. I mean, it was money. I mean, I won't complain, but it would have been nice to get other skills at that time working at like a supermarket than, you know, being outside just putting grass in a dumpster. I came home my first year of art school and I worked that summer landscaping, and then when I went back my sophomore year, I got a job at a restaurant, and I talked to the guy and said, "Look, man, I don't want to go back home to Jersey this summer. Can I work this summer?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, I could put you on full time for the summer." So that's when I stayed at the restaurant working in the summer instead of coming home. Because I'm like, I am not going back to landscaping. I used to get that pina colada too, Terrell. Yeah, I actually, what's kind of funny is after I graduated from art school, I did a couple random jobs, and I ended up becoming a graphic artist for Pathmark Sunday Circulars. So I was working at the headquarters doing their Sunday stuff for like the tri-state area of like, you know, PA, New York, and Jersey. But that was like a 6-month job, and then I left. And I think it was like, what, 4 years later, Pathmark went under? Something like that. I'll be right back. Gotta roll this out. Well, I wasn't really like, I was the newbie at the office, so I was the guy who just kind of, they had a stupid system on how they did their papers. You have one section of the guys who like photoshopped all the fruits and vegetables. Then you had another group of people who designed the layout, and I was the guy who just plugged in the prices and what did I do else? And I plugged in the where the fruits would go, because back then it was like you needed a workforce to create this stuff. But yeah, I mean, I was, you know, I was working on it, but I wasn't actually like in the office I wanted to be in, you know, like the Photoshop office. But by the time I left, you really didn't need all those people doing that stuff anymore. I mean, they used to have the big, in the office, in another room, they had this big silver machine, which was like, you would take the Sunday paper, and when you would run it through the silver photograph machine, it was huge. And it had all these chemicals in there, and that would create the template to send to the printer. They were so behind, because it was around 2000, 2001, they were so behind with technology, they didn't really have the updated stuff. And I was getting frustrated, so I left that company. I was like, I'm not learning anything here, so I said I was out. And my manager, which was a younger guy, all he did was play like Pong or something on his computer in his cubicle. He didn't do a damn thing. So, wasn't a very learning experience at that company. Because at the time I was so hungry to learn, you know, like get my skills up, and just wasn't learning anything. So I was like, I'm out. Do you know Strauss Discount Auto, Terrell? I don't know if you're in the area where you know Strauss Auto. That's the... I used to do those circulars when I had my full-time job afterwards. And I was the one who was doing those all the time by myself. Well, there was a lady there, but she didn't really know how to use the computer. She did everything on tracing paper, and that's a whole other story. But I used to get fed up with that too. Sit there and wait for 3 hours for her to draw on tracing paper when I was like, I could do this on a computer in an hour. Yeah, it's basically like, it's like you know, Auto Part Zone or you know, something like that. But it was called Strauss. They were around forever. But they're the people who ran the company kind of didn't know what the hell they were doing for so long. And I guess instead of like kind of going with the times, they sort of fell off. So they went bottom up. And after they closed down, I started doing statue work. Well, it's not that I lost because of them, it's because they were our main client at the advertising company I was with. So he closed the doors down. I don't know what happened to Pathmark though. That was they were just there and then one day they were just all gone. They were everywhere. Hey Scott. Yeah, I lived like literally a minute down the road from one, and they were there my whole life from when I was a kid all the way up until I don't know. I think they closed around like the mid 2000s. I think. Then I think ShopRite bought it out, the building. Well, the one I used to go to was really good. Then it became a. Then when ShopRite took over, they trashed it. They completely just let it go to hell. Hey, Raccoon. Yeah, that they were. There was a few left in I think the 2000s, like the early 2000s, and then they just went under. And then I think that's when ShopRite kind of started buying up all the locations. So now everything is ShopRite here. All the old stuff is gone. Like what was it? 6 Avenues I think are gone. Pathmarks are gone. The Wiz, Circuit City. All the old stuff is just bye-bye. Yeah, the Wiz went out a long time ago, but that's kind of like I live close to Route 22 in Jersey, in the Union area, and like on that highway was all that stuff. Yeah, the Wiz was a funny setup, the way that building was set up. At least the one we used to go to. Their setup was just so... It was like a maze. It wasn't very friendly to like walk around it. But they had everything at the time. McCory's? That I don't think we really... I don't know what that is. I've never heard of McCory's. If that was popular, it wasn't popular in my area. Okay, yeah, see, we had Caldors and Bradley's, but I never heard of a McCory's. That might have not just been popular in my area, or we might have just not had one near my location. I mean, because you figure 80s and 90s, it's not like my parents and people would travel far away to places. If it wasn't in the area, you just didn't go to it. At least that's how I grew up, you know? Of course, when it was like the 90s and I could drive, I went everywhere. But in the 80s, you just didn't really... If it's not down the street or next town over, you just didn't go to it. At least not with my family. Oh, so Raccoon was the one that made my life a living hell. Trying to get all those Spawn figures back in the day, and she's stealing all the crap as a worker. I knew somebody was doing it. When I worked at, I think I was at Pathmark at the time the Spawn figures were out, because that was probably, what, around 2000, right? Probably, no, 99 to 2000, right? About there. I used to call out of work to go on Wednesdays to hit those stores to get the rare figures. But no, Raccoon was stealing them. I'm going to report you to your manager. That's what I'm going to do. That's just mean. Treasure hunt cars, I've never heard of those. But then again, I wasn't in the Hot Wheels, so you gotta explain that one to me. I don't know what that is. So all I know is the Spawn figures, and I remember on Wednesdays there'd be all guys lined up at Toys R Us waiting to run inside to try to get them as fast as possible. Toys R Us or KB's, one or the other. Ah, so it's just a rare thing to help sell. Gotcha. I gotcha. Hey, what's up, 234? How's it going? I didn't realize Hot Toys did. I mean, not Hot Toys. Hot Wheels did that as well. I guess everybody was jumping on the bandwagon to sell. I saw that before you deleted it. I saw it. Well, I know didn't the Turtles do it too? But weren't the well, maybe the Turtles were a little bit earlier. I just know the Spawn stuff was a nightmare. Was it they were too heavy? I thought it was just poorly packed. Like they didn't really design the packing all that well. I could be wrong. I don't know. It's been a while since I really remember a lot of the Spawn stuff. I gave up after a while. I said screw it. I'm not trying to get these figures anymore. Especially when the comic book stores I would go to would have like the rare ones, but they would be like $60 at the time, and at that time that was a lot of money too, so I'd be like, screw that. Of course now $60 is like, yeah, whatever. Well, I might take down the skirt a little bit. Right now we're still kind of shaping it all out, but I probably can shave it flat once it's cured up. Yeah, it's a little, the focus is more the chest than the booty, so. Well, I sold all my Spawn stuff when like eBay started really taking off. I probably was around, I think, probably around 2003, maybe, is when I really like got into eBay a lot more, and I started really selling a lot of stuff. So I remembered I was tired of all the Spawn figures, and I said, screw it, it's time to get rid of these. So I started selling them as much as possible. Plus, at the time, I had all those X-Men figures, and I had the Spawn figures, and I had Turtles, and I was just like, I can't keep all these boxes, you know? I was like, it was time to get rid of them all. At some point, you gotta say enough is enough, you know? Plus, I was getting good money for them. And I was using it to buy statues because I got more into the statue stuff. So, started getting into Bowen designs and collecting all those. So I guess I used a lot to fund that addiction. Yeah, it was a great story at the time, and the figures were like really high-end figures because he really pushed the envelope, you know, and they were really awesome. But then, you know, then you had a variant of the variant of the variant, and then you had like a store exclusive, and then you had like a Wizard World exclusive, and it got to the point where it was like, screw this, you know, just because one had a red color eyes and the other one didn't, you know? It got bad. That's when I started saying, screw it. This is ridiculous. Yeah, that's why I got into the statues more. The hell did you say, yes, man? Do I have to translate? I never got into the sports stuff on McFarlane. I know he did a lot of it, but I'm not into the sport, so I never paid attention. But I do remember going to Toys R Us, and there was so much of those there that it would have its own section. But I don't know anybody that collected the Spawn sports stuff, though, actually. You know, I know a lot of people that are into sports with family and certain friends, but nobody collected figures of them that I know of. So it must have been a select few, because I don't know how popular it really was. Oh, so he had to kind of pay his own bills? Is that what it was? I know he's a big hockey nut, but yeah, I lost track of, I think I stopped all figure collecting once I discovered Bowen Designs, and I also stopped the Star Wars figures. I think it was after episode 2, I think it was. I was collecting a lot of the Star Wars stuff too, and then that got ridiculous, and I just stopped and went strictly to Bowen statues. I got into the whole statue hype. So, hey Joe, how's it going? But yeah, I don't regret the statue stuff, because I like the statue stuff more than the figures. I think with the figures is they were nice and they were a little bit more cost effective, but the details just wasn't where I liked stuff to be. That's why I got into the statues more. See, I like the expanded universe, so I was always trying to find the expanded figures. But then those got too ridiculous at comic book store prices, and I just gave up. But the Star Wars stuff got out of hand too there for a while. Before you knew it, there were so many of the same character, like Darth Mauls, and they were like everywhere. And there was variants and card number variants and packaging variants and... Well, they were produced by what? Toy Biz or Hasbro? They didn't give a crap. They were like, just pump this stuff out. People are buying like crazy. I think I had, at one point, I had 5 long boxes of Star Wars figures. And Spawn figures, and I think what else was in there? Oh, X-Men stuff. Like 5 long boxes of comic book stuff. And then I had some plastic bins of stuff, and I remember I was at my parents' house after I moved, and I'm sitting here like, I gotta get this stuff out of the house. I don't want this stuff anymore. And then I got rid of it. I was like, I'm done. I was like, I have all this stuff and I never look at it. The Mandalorian? No. I will not be watching that. I don't watch any Star Wars stuff anymore. I don't care for Disney Star Wars. And it looks like trash to me from the trailer. It looks like some kind of Disney stupid kid show. I don't think I've even watched Mandalorian past season 1. I don't even think I saw season 2. No, I didn't watch The Boys season. I only saw some snippets on YouTube about it. I'll probably just kind of get spoilers on YouTube. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not into The Boys that much. I really don't care for superheroes being so dark and I don't know. It's not really my type of show. I want to see what happens, but I'm okay with just watching spoilers on YouTube. I never saw the last season of Boys, and never saw the last season of Gen V, so I'm kind of in a loss anyway of what's going on. But it seems to me they're going to try to make Homelander as strong as Superman now. Is that what they're like trying to do? Yeah, I don't watch Incredible either. I don't know. I'm just not watching anything. I just don't care. All I do is work and I watch stuff on YouTube. Like, if you want to know YouTube drama, I could tell you all the stuff with different channels and people and lolcows, but when it comes to, like, movies and shows, I just don't watch that stuff anymore. Yeah, that's what I kind of saw from some of the snippets with what is it, Soldier Boy's serum or blood or whatever. But I have a funny feeling the creators are going to try to make Homelander basically Superman. I think that's what they're going to do. So this way they can say Homelander could kill Superman. Because the creator of The Boys really, really wants everybody to think that Homelander is stronger than Superman. He says it in all his interviews and stuff. So hey Luciano, how am I saying that right? I am using Abe's epoxy sculpt. I'll show you in a second. Let me wash my hands real quick. Hold on. Oops, almost lost her. Alright, so this is Abe's epoxy sculpt. I'll put the website in the... Yeah, I know, ass man, but the creator thinks that Homelander's stronger than Superman. So this is Abe's epoxy sculpt. You mix A and B together in equal amounts. There's also stuff called finishing solution, and when you mix it together, you get this material you can sculpt with. You have about a 3-hour work time, and then after 3 hours, it starts curing up, and then after like 8 hours to the next day, it's like resin, hard as a rock. So you can see that this is where we're putting these heads. So this is what I do for all my sculpting. That goes there, and it sort of holds that stuff. So everything you see I sculpt with in red and stuff is the Aves. Then there's Fix-It sculpt, which is a little bit more. So I kind of mix like equal amounts of this to get that pinkish color. So I use Fix-It sculpt and Aves epoxy sculpt. And then if you see the white powder on here, that's baby powder that I roll out with a rolling pin in the garage. And you can get like strips you can cut. But they used to call it safety solvent, but now it's called finishing solution. And this is what helped make it smooth and also, you know, soften it up. Any other questions? Go ahead and ask. I was watching Invincible the first season. Afterwards, I really just didn't get into it. I mean, I sort of read the comic books back in the day. I don't know. I'm not just not into watching things like I used to. I kind of just rather read the comic book or something. I think Disney just kind of put me off to like Hollywood. I think the only show I've been watching regularly is that girl from she's from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. She's doing that crime thing where she's like basically like the old TV show Monk, where she can solve everything. I guess I kind of like shows like that. So that's only the kind of thing I've really been watching. And it's not like there's a lot of episodes out there, so. Scott, you gotta watch the Star Wars AI where Darth Vader, and he's always saving his favorite stormtrooper, Greg. It is the funniest. It is so damn funny because I love it, because it's the AI is not perfect, so everything is always out of sync and doesn't make sense because the monsters and characters change in like different scenes. But it's that's what makes me laugh, is stupid stuff like that, you know? It reminds me of like the old like Airplane and type of like National Lampoon's type of like humor. Yeah, those were so. I lost it when Vader picked him up by his like waist and was carrying him into the ship. And Vader's like, we gotta save Greg, but nobody wanted to help Vader save Greg. It was so funny. To me, stuff like that is fun to watch because I love stupid humor, you know? Just stupid stuff to laugh at. So. Yeah, I was crying with those. Then Greg developed Jedi powers, and then he lost them. It was so funny. It's so stupid. It was funny to me. I love stuff like that. That's the type of TV shows and movies I miss. You know, like the old what was it? Police Squad and Police Academy and you know, Pink Panther, stuff like that I miss. I just like the stupid humor thing. So that's why I'm looking forward to the new Scary Movie and also Spaceballs 2. So I'm hoping those are just stupid funny. Yeah, and that's why I've been loving it, you know, and it's funny too, a lot of the comments on those videos are like, it's so out of sync with the monsters and AI, it's funny, and that's what I've been enjoying. Hold on, I gotta close my garage door. I think it's gonna rain. Well, good luck, Raz. Hopefully you make some cash. Be good, a little cash injection for your vacation, right? Oh, I didn't hear about that one. I don't know, there's so many fun, stupid stuff out there. There's like all these videos now of superheroes fighting other superheroes. I saw this one on Instagram. I'll link it to you guys because it's still fresh in chats. Hold on a second. Where is it? Is this it? That one had me laughing. I don't know if you guys can see it, but let me know. I love all the stuff online saying that that's why RAM costs so much money now, because it's stuff like that. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just having. I have more fun with this stuff now on YouTube than I do with like Hollywood. So I'm just enjoying like the stupid stuff. Did you guys see all the Chuck Norris stuff that's all over the internet now? Of him punching all Hollywood characters and movie characters? Those are pretty funny too. They did a... Really? In Warcraft? Huh, I'll have to look that one up. That'd be kind of cool to see. Yeah, AI in 2 years has gone nuts. Just imagine another year. I think Disney or Paramount is actually suing, was it Seedance or Sundance or something? The AI platform. I think they're doing lawsuit now or something. Something's going on. So, we definitely hit that stage. Luciano, a lot of my stuff is either 3D printed, Sideshow collectibles, damaged stuff, but right now this is a 3D print, so stuff is kind of shifting more to 3D printed items. Even though I still work on Sideshow stuff, or Prime 1, or XM, but it seems like 3D printed stuff is kind of easier now, and a bit cheaper, in a sense, than buying like a Sideshow or a Prime 1. Actors have been worried. Actors have been very, very vocal over all this stuff. But sadly, I think they pissed everybody off over the past couple of years anyway. So I think people are just done with actors. At least I know I am. Telling me, you know, what I should do during the lockdowns or who to vote for and all that stuff. So I really don't care what actors say anymore. Or singers. They can admit they made millions, but they had to tell me that I needed a shot, or I needed to stay home, or I'm a bad person because I didn't go see their movie, you know. So I really don't care what actors say anymore. They did it to themselves. If they were more for the fans would support them. Then again, I've always felt that way of actors and singers all these years, even back in the 90s. I used to hate the like Green Day. They were good music, but they would shit on America and Americans all the time. But they made most of their money from us. Well, if you go online, Scott, if you get a chance, you should look up some of the voice acting stuff that was going on with their what was it? Their damn it, well, their union. The voice actors got screwed. Not because they did they were innocent. They couldn't shut their mouths, but the union that they worked for screwed them. It's a whole big thing. You should look into it if you get a chance. It's kind of funny what they did. I did not print this one, Luciana. Raz did. So Raz is in chat. If he's still around, he could tell you what he used. But this is a lot of primer. And Abe sculpted on her, so this isn't the original sculpt anymore. It's got a lot of Abe's work on it. So it was basically a nude figure, and I did all the other stuff to it. Yeah, but Raz can give you a lot more information on that stuff. Because I don't 3D print, but Raz is the one who printed these. Hey Butterfly, how's it going? I don't know about you guys, but we had a crazy weather last week. It was like 90 degrees, and now it's like a nice cool 72. But at least yesterday I got my garage cleaned up finally. So now I'm like starting to pull out new projects and stuff. But we had some weird weather. I gotta clean my AC units, the coils, and it's like the summer. Like we skipped spring again. Went right into summer. It was like 40-degree weather right into 80. But I figured yesterday was a good day to gut the garage, clean it out, get everything in garbage bags, throw away stuff, start planning on new commissions to bring in there. So kind of getting ahead of the game finally a little bit. No, I'm happy with the warm weather. I'm loving it now. In the garage, doors open, fresh air finally, sweating a little bit. I love it. I don't have to sit there at night having like sweats on and a sweater and freeze my ass off. Yeah, we're getting the pollen now, so I can't really wash the car because literally the next day it'll turn green again. That's the only downside. We got the pollen season now, but it'll be gone in like 2 or 3 weeks. And then we'll just have nice warm weather and I can just sweat and get things done. I gotta get that AC cleaner and like the coil cleaner. I gotta get those sort of done in another week or two. At least the AC units are blowing cold air for now, so I think I'm good for another summer. Just gotta clean them up, make sure there's no mold in there or anything. I thought I was going to have to replace this AC wall unit that's in here because last year I thought maybe it was not blowing as cold air as it was, but I think it was just a very hot summer. So I think it just wasn't working as well, but I think next summer I'm going to have to replace it. I think I could get one more summer out of it. I was testing it the other day and it was working, so one more summer and then next year I'll take the plunge and get a new one. See if maybe I could get a quieter one. I'll have to spend a little extra money, but they're usually around, I think, 800 now for a quieter one. I'll just have to have my friends come down and help me get it up there one day. Hey Henry, how's it going? Oh, if any of you guys need to order any resins, I order from here. That's where I get all my smooth on resin, you know, like the freeform air and the 2-part resins. I had to order some today for some projects I'm working on. They have free shipping going on right now. So if you guys need resins and if you order from them, or any of their mold making materials, they got a free shipping promotion going on. So I think I saved myself like $50 to $60 today with the 2 I ordered. So if you guys need anything, it's kind of a good chance to snag some. I bought a freeform air, and I also got Foam It, which is like 2-part resin, but it foams up for like hollow statues. So I'm going to do a video on those when I get that stuff. So we'll kind of see how that works out. But some pretty good deals though today if you're looking. No, I do not use the freeform air to sculpt with, but I use it to fill, and I use it for armature stuff. So let me see if I have an example. As of right now, I don't have an armature thing, but this is a hollow base for an Akuma statue. So I use the freeform air to fill all this in, and fill this in. And I used it to fill in, like, you could see the freeform air is the white stuff. So I used it to fill in this hollow base. And I have this item. So this is a Supergirl I've never finished yet, but it's a 3D print. So this base I made for her. It's like a little cloud base, but this is freeform air. So I used the little Aves and I built the key for her. And then this is just freeform air around a solid resin chunk of block I had. So basically anytime I had freeform air or anything, I fill this in to make it look like a cloud. She kind of wobbles back a little bit. So I'll probably add more on the back of it when I get a chance. But yeah, so say I had to sculpt her hair. So say I was going to sculpt this hair, I would put freeform air with a rod, and then I would use the Aves on top of that to sculpt the detail. So freeform air is great for like filler. But I don't like sculpting with it. Well, I do have a project on the floor I used freeform air to sort of sculpt with, but I can't show that project off until I finish my video series. So in this series you might be able to see it a little bit better. I've done it in a couple other videos, but I can't remember them. A bust, you could, like, for example, if you were to do like the face or whatever, you could sort of do a tin foil ball. Then you could put freeform air around it to create like the egg shape, and then you can use Aves or your other sculpted material on top of it to do better detail. But yeah, you could use, like, even if you wanted to create her arm, you could put a wire and you could put a little freeform air, and then you can sculpt Aves on top of it for detail. Or you could just do a wire with Aves. But if the reason why I like the freeform air is because a gallon kit, which is A and B, which is basically 2 gallons, it's $124 versus if you buy this Aves, which is heavier. But this right here is like, I think, 40 bucks for a 4-pound kit. But Aves, you could do better detailing, and it's heavier. But freeform air is cheaper, but you can't really detail with it. That kind of makes sense. But the only problem with freeform air is if you fill in a hollow item and you don't have a lot of like air escaping of it, the freeform air loves to expand out of it. So you got to be careful, because freeform air could actually shatter something if you don't have a vent from it. So that's the only downside with, like, Aves. You could shove Aves in something and it doesn't expand. But it's just expensive to fill an item with Aves. And Aves is really good because once it cures, you could sand it down a lot better than freeform air. You know, because it's a little bit, it's more of a, it toughens, it's stronger, you know. Freeform air is kind of like softer. But, you know, they both have their uses. But the other stuff I ordered, Freeform Sculpt, do they still make that? Because I thought they discontinued the Sculpt a while back. I know when they first made Freeform Sculpt, it was so sticky that when I put it on something, it was like working with taffy, and I never used the stuff again, unless they remade it. But I bought foam it today to fill a hollow statue. So let me find it. So I got this one. Where is it? Why can't you click? Hold on. Hold on. Where is it? I'll find it. Here it is. So I haven't used that stuff yet. I've always been wanting to, so I ordered it. I'm going to do a video on it when I get it and sort of like see how it works. But that's like, instead of buying resin to fill a hollow statue, maybe do like the foam a little bit better. And maybe, you know, because regular resin gets expensive. So I want to experiment with that. Because the item I'm working on would be way too expensive to fill it with regular resin and also make it way too heavy. So we kind of want to make it a little bit lighter but solid. The reason why I'm getting that is because I don't want to keep buying the foam from Home Depot. Because that stuff doesn't always fill up the item correctly. Because if you don't have enough like air in there, it sort of sinks down. So I figured I'm going to try that stuff from Smooth On instead. But I tried Freeform Sculpt back in the day when it first came out. I've used Aves, I've used Magic Sculpt, I used Freeform Air, and everything I sculpt with now is Aves. I think Aves is the best material out there. There's just so much you could do with it, you know. It's really great to work with. It cures amazingly. It's easy to sand. You can keep adding and taking away. It's just that you have that sort of work time though. But Aves is the best material out there. Magic Sculpt from I forget the company that makes Magic Sculpt. It's not bad, but it's not as good as Aves. I think if you get a container of Aves, if you sculpt and you really try to use Aves and get used to it, you'll like it, I think. Well, when I use Freeform Air, to stop it from sticking to everything, I use baby powder. So, but the only problem though is it gets very very tacky. And the problem with Freeform Air is if you have if you mix up Aves, right? If you mix up Aves and you leave it like this, you still have 3 hours to work with this. If you mix up a ball of Freeform Air, because the inside is a little bit thicker, the Freeform Air cures faster, and this will cure up fast within like, what, 20 minutes? Whereas Aves stays soft for a good 3 hours. But then when Aves cures, it's like resin. So I like my Aves better. Hey, Devastator. Yeah, I think the daughter of the owner of Aves is really really getting the product out a little bit more. Plus, I think they need to if they want to survive, especially the way 3D printing is going. I think if they would kind of push Aves a little bit more for 3D printers and sculptors, it'll probably do good for them. It's still good if you're a 3D printer. You can use Aves to fix a lot of your, errors instead of like crappy putties. I don't think they're going anywhere because I know from when I talked to the owner, they still deal with a lot of companies around the world that use Aves, and it's not just for it's not just for hobbies. A lot of companies use Aves for other, applications. What he told me back in the day. So, like maybe companies use it for like repairing certain like equipment, stuff like that. Hopefully. My fear is that down the line she sells the company, and then whoever owns it completely screws up the material. That's my only fear. I'm pretty sure a company bought it, and they're probably just sitting on it for now, waiting to release it. As far as I know, Aves was created by this guy, and I guess his, I don't know if he retired, but I think his daughter's kind of got into the business now. Because Raccoon sent that video a while back, and I guess they're just going to keep running with it. They probably are doing pretty good with it, it's like the only product out there that I can do what I'm doing with. I mean, other products are similar, but they don't have the consistency and making it life easy, I guess. I mean, if Aves went out of business, I don't know. I think all I would be able to do is paint statues. I don't think I'd be able to customize like I do now. It's when I go work at McDonald's. Then again, that's becoming automated, so I don't know what I'll be doing. I'll be living in a van down by the river. That's what I'll be doing. If anyone wants to join me, let me know. Yeah, that's right. Everything's becoming automated. We're all screwed. So you just remind me of the skit from the Whitest Kids You Know. Did you ever see that skit about the vacuum cleaner salesman and the guy buying it? If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look up Whitest Kids You Know vacuum, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. I just saw it the other day, so you remind me of that. Yeah, watch it. And if you don't know who the Whitest Kids You Know is on YouTube, I suggest if you really want to see some old raunchy comedy, watch Whitest Kids I Know. They are so goddamn funny. The stuff they did back in the day would not be allowed today. That's how funny they are. The guy who created it, Trevor, I forget his last name, he passed away though. But he was known as a very, very good sketch comedy guy. He had a good future ahead of him, but he passed away, sadly. Oh, I love the Abraham Lincoln one. You effed up! You effed up now! You effed up! I love that skit. That's one of my favorites too. What was it? The Truth of John Wilkes Booth or something? Was that it? I think that's what it was called. Something like that. The Gallon PCB one's good too. I think my all-time favorite probably is the God, there's so many. The one with the boss was shooting a sniper. Oh, that's the other one too, Devastator, Jizzle. Look up the Jizzle. That one is a riot. For anyone that remembers the old commercial. Yeah, I tell you that's stuff like that I could watch. Or like I miss stuff like that, you know, like In Living Color, Mad TV, stuff like that. But the Whitest Kids I Know, I think they were on YouTube though, right? Or were they on Comedy Central? Well, Devastator on YouTube, they're doing high definition Whitest Kids You Know now. Because I remember back in the day it was very grainy, but now if you go on YouTube, they have like high definition their shows now. I guess they re-edited them on YouTube. Oh, they're on Amazon Prime? Okay. Yeah, see, I never watched them on like cable. I always saw them on YouTube. But they are a riot, though. I love that stuff. The nail gun skit was good, too. I don't know if you ever saw the nail gun skit. That was a good one. If I'm not mistaken, the same guys who created that, they also made that movie, My Girlfriend's a Porn Star, I think it was. I think those are the same guys that made that one, or am I thinking a different one? Yeah, they did a lot of that where they dressed it up as women too, because they had no females on the crew. And it was so bad it was funny. That's why I thought they were... Oh, you know what's a good one too? Look up the Genie skit. That one was a riot. I think the Genie skit is still one of my favorites too. Because what was it, the heavier set kid? I think his name is Timmy. Or they call him Timmy in the show. He was funny. Yeah, it's like Kids in the Hall, but I would say it's a little bit raunchier, I would say. Well, no, I think Kids in the Hall was kind of like a little bit safer humor, whereas Whitest Kids You Know went a little bit darker. Whereas if Whitest Kids You Know came out today, everybody would want to cancel them. That's how bad they were. So I suggest you watch them. They're funny. Yeah, Kids in the Hall was great. I love them. But they weren't as, they didn't push the envelope as much. Yeah, that was a good one. Oh yeah, you can't do that on television? Of course, I grew up with that. But that was a little bit more for kids. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody from our age group grew up with that. Abe's Honey? I was gonna order that the next time I get Abe's. Was it really good? Because I remember I got the email for that a while back, and I was like, maybe I should pick up a bottle. Because I think I'm gonna have to do an order of Abe's probably end of this month, maybe. Because the 2 bottles I showed you on stream is what I have left. So I might have to get some backup just in case. Yeah, I might have to wait till they have the next sale at the end of the month or next month, because I'm good enough for the month. And I just bought a whole bunch of the resin today. But I definitely want to be prepared for when I pull out some more stuff next month. So I'll keep an eye out. Is the new episode of Boys comes out tonight, or is it during the weekend? Oh, Benny Hill was oh god, Benny Hill was so funny back in the day. But the only problem was not allowed to watch it. So I remember we had to sort of sneak downstairs once in a while after my parents went to bed to go watch it. Because my mother was like, you're not allowed to watch that. But me and my brother used to kind of sneak down there and watch it. Or if we had friends over, sleepovers, we kind of would watch it when they're, you know, in the basement. We weren't allowed to. But I love Benny Hill though. That was so funny. It's kind of funny how back then Benny Hill was very like naughty, you know, not allowed to watch it. And these days now, like, Benny Hill is like nothing compared to what's on the internet that kids can watch at the ready. Just funny how times have changed. Although if you hear the music from Benny Hill now, you know exactly where it's from. Now, if you're going back to Benny Hill, Devastator, do you remember Super Dave? You gotta know Super Dave. Yeah, Super Dave was fun too. What's funny is I forgot about Super Dave. You know, I completely forgot about him, and I was like, you know, never really thought of him until I watched, I think it was Ocean's 12? Not 13, but I think it was 12. He popped in as the guy's father, and I was like, I know him. Where do I know him? And when I looked it up, I remembered he was Super Dave. I used to love Super Dave because it was that stupid comedy where, you know it wasn't him in the stunts. It was just a mannequin, but it was funny though. I don't know. I used to love that. It was always a mannequin, but it was just stupid because, well, you just knew it was. Yeah. I loved his co-host. Was it Sakamoto or something? And he always used to tell Dave it was ready, but it wasn't. And he always just pretty much got him killed. I think it was Sakamoto. I think it was, or Yoshimoto. One of those. He was. Oh, that guy was hilarious too. Sometimes they would just leave him there too, even though it wasn't, he'd be asking for help. You guys see the Godzilla trailer or sneak again? I don't know. What do you guys think of it? Not a huge Godzilla fan, but I do kind of like their movies they've been doing. It's kind of just gets to the point of monsters fighting each other. Yeah, this one, supposedly this one is going to be like, sort of have to do with like a space alien or something. At least that's kind of what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't know. Kind of interested to see it. Like I said, I'm not a huge Godzilla fan, but the movies don't... It's not like I'll rush out to see them, but I'll definitely watch them. Guess that's the best way to put it. So, which the American versions of Godzilla versus not? Explain it to me, because I just think that all the Godzillas that came out, aren't they the same company, or are they different? Differ. I don't know. Like, is the King Kong one the same, or is that not what this one's about? Oh, so... Okay, so this isn't part of the Kong vs. Godzilla. This is Japanese stuff. Okay. Alright. So what you're saying is this one's going to be better? I thought this one was part of the Godzilla stuff. I mean, not the Godzilla. I mean the King Kong. Duh. Yeah, I remember the -1, right? I did see that one. Alright. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna watch it. Not in the theaters, of course, but when it's on the line, I'll check it out. I don't know, I think the the whole Godzilla and King Kong sort of felt like it was going to start to get too cheesy. I don't know if that's the goal of it, but I don't know. I kind of felt like it was kind of getting too 2000s type of a kind of Godzilla thing, you know? Alright, Butterfly, maybe I'll get a bottle next time I order. I'll keep it in mind, let you know. Roll out this Aves to save it. Don't have anything to fill, do I? Actually, I do have something to fill. I pulled out a Juggernaut kit. I have to do a review on this weekend, so I figured since I have Aves, I'm gonna probably put magnets in the bottom of his foot. So I figured let's shove extra Aves in here until I'm ready to get my resin that I ordered to fill this in. So this way, I have a filler item now. I figure I don't really need to do a rod coming out of his foot, but I'll put rods in his body to connect everything. But for here, I could put magnets, so this way he locks into the base pretty well. So any extra A's I get this week, I'll keep filling this in. I'm sorry, did I say juggernaut? I meant blob. I don't know what I just said. Hold on, wash my hands. I did say juggernaut. All right. Yeah, I meant blob. It's the blob kit with Toad on the shoulder. Well, it's not a kit. It's a 3D print. I'll do a review on it this week when I get a chance. Tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, I can review it. I pulled it out in the garage today. So that's why I ordered all that stuff. And I think I'm starting to, going forward, like I said, I think I might be getting more 3D prints to do. Customize and stuff. It's just like the way things are going now with the hobby. Still doing some sideshow here and there, but I think a lot more people are kind of looking into the 3D prints more than anything. Yeah, it's a good sculpt. And you know what it is I got a couple guys I do stuff for, and they're more like Bowen collectors, so they're kind of trying to finish out some Bowen stuff here and there. Plus, they've seen a couple of the files out there now, so they kind of like those than some of the actual Bowen stuff. So. I don't remember the Kenny Rogers one. Then again, I haven't seen Super Dave in ages. For 10K, allow myself to have cat breath for 2 months. Yes, I would. I work home, and I don't work in like an office or anything, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And if that's the case, I would just wear a mask, if you're allowed to, and just pretend I have a cold. Or that, you know what I would do? Is I make up a T-shirt saying I have cat breath, but in 2 months I'll be 10K richer. I'm sure everybody here in chat would probably do it too, right? Hey Butterfly, I think Butterfly's 10 minutes behind our chat. Yeah, I mean, 10K, I mean, why not, right? Hell, I probably would do it for, pay my mortgage for a month, you know? I think you'd be surprised what a lot of people would do for 10K for tax-free for 2 months. Hell, there's business women that are quitting their jobs, jumping onto OnlyFans thinking they were going to make money, so people do some crazy things. Is that a new thing, Terrell, going around? Like the new TikTok or Instagram challenge thing? Is that like what everyone's asking everybody now? Because I know if I ask a couple of my friends and even my cousin, they'll all probably be like, hell yeah. You know what, too? You know what's funny? A lot of people would be like, oh, you have cat breath, no one want to talk to you. But a lot of people would be like, hey, I don't want to talk to anybody anyway, so it'd be a good excuse for people not to talk to me. Yeah, I watched the video too. Like, there was what was it? I was watching this one video, and this one businesswoman, she thought she was gonna make like millions a month or something, and she only makes like $5 a month. You know, I might see my friends tomorrow. I'm gonna ask them that question too. But yeah, I do it, Terrell. I do it in an instant. I mean, wouldn't you do it? Yeah, but the OnlyFans thing is a riot. I did see this one video where, like I said, the businesswoman thought she was going to be making $1 million a year. She had a good job. And then she jumped on OnlyFans, and like at the end of the month, she was making like $5. So she kind of regretted that situation. Where there's this new thing now that all these girls are on Instagram and Twitter crying about the Black Cat skin character in Marvel Rivals now. But they don't bitch about OnlyFans, but they're bitching about a game that looks sexy in the game. So that's a big thing that's going on right now, I saw this week. So a video game character is bad, but OnlyFans is good. Got some major sanding to do on this when it's cured, but this is better than I expected. Really devastator. What was the scientist working on? It seems like anytime somebody comes up with something, they disappear. God forbid the plebs have free anything, right? Well, the Queen of England just called everybody food eaters. That's all we are to them. Oh, I might get unalive now because I said that. Wasn't there a guy that came up with hydrofusion? Like what was it, like a couple months back, and he just disappeared recently now? Came up with something like water energy. I know I saw that guy, and I think he disappeared. Yeah, it's either one, they're abducting them and then making a clone and saying they died and using them in their own laboratories, or two, they're off in them, one or the other. But we're not allowed to have any of that technology. We're only allowed to have it when they can monetize it. Just like, what was it? Recently I watched a video where they said that, you know how silver is and everything, and they're creating silver batteries now, which is going to be 10 times more efficient, longer charges, and less waste because you could pull the silver back out of the battery. So now there's a rumor that they're going to try to stop that technology and create copper stuff where the copper is going to do the same thing, but it's going to last the same charge, but it's going to not last as long, like in the quality, so you'll have to keep replacing it. So that's kind of what I heard what they're trying to do with the silver battery technology now, because they're afraid that if that technology goes out there, they won't be able to monetize it as much as like a copper cheap battery. So that's kind of what I heard they're trying to do lately, because I've been watching those silver energy channel stuff a lot. So it was a video I was watching, and they said that anytime a technology comes out that's going to revolutionize humanity, they always find another way to come up with another technology that's like not as efficient, and they can monetize it, and they hide the other one, or they make it so it's impossible to get the material to do it. Yeah, that's kind of what I've been feeling. You know, like for a while there, we realized that they're coming up with some kind of like free energy or better, like salt batteries, silver batteries, and like, you know, more technology, all about this silver stuff. And then all of a sudden we're in a war and we're going back to oil, you know? So it feels like they're trying to stop the technology or control it. Because let's face it, if we had the free stuff, we wouldn't need the governments or the corporations, and they can't have that. Just like I went and bought water today. You know, I went and got some bottled water. And I'm sitting there like, you know, back in the 80s, we didn't have bottled water. You know, you just drank out of a faucet and it was fine. But now, you can't drink out of a faucet because the water's contaminated, so they found a way to monetize the water. Yeah, they're gonna... And then also what I've been watching too, a lot of the markets. The market's starting to slowly go back up, and so is like the silver and gold. It seems like they realized they lost all their money on the shorts, so they sold all their shorts and they bought all the physical. So now that they own all the physical, they're going to allow it to go up in price because now they'll own all the physical and they can sell it at a profit, you know? Yeah, Terrell, Air's next. We're definitely heading into Spaceballs territory. And then, what was it? I was looking at the stocks today, too, and it seems like the AI stuff is going back up. So, they kept telling everybody to get out of it, to sell it, it's going to drop, and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, the rumor is they bought all those stocks up on the sale, and now everything's starting to creep back up again, you know? So, it's always you do what's opposite of they tell you to do. Yeah, because I'm looking at it now. TSM's gone up, AMD went up, Apple's going back up. Yeah, they told everybody to sell all those stocks. Well, they're doing that in the UK, Raz, right? They're going to start off in the UK first. And then they're going to... Well, that was the goal, right? They always said that in the future, you will own nothing and you will love it. Well, then, was it China or Japan built all those cities, but they're all, like, collecting dust and it didn't go according to plan? Because they had that 16-year plan, right? And I think Japan was building all those cities, or China, and now those cities are all vacant and no one's there. I think it was China, right? Yeah, I just want to make it till I keep my collection, finish the characters I want to make for myself, and then kick the bucket and let the new generations take over. I'm from the 90s. We just had our, all we were told was vote for your right to vote. You know? Fight for your right to vote. That's all we worried about, or we were told. Yeah, it seemed like Butterfly was a little bit behind us. Sorry, it happens when I watch my live streams on other people's channels. I'm sitting there like, the channel ended and I'm like, wait, what happened? And I realized I was like 20 minutes behind. That happens when I watch the these two guys that talk about silver and gold on weekends. Fight for your right to party. Well, we did a lot of partying back then. I consider myself more 90s because I remember that more. Even though I grew up in the 80s too. Well, I'm 77, so that's basically more, I would consider myself more 90s. I just remember more than 90s, I guess. Amy, that's just 34? Wow. It's okay, Butterfly. We won't hold it against you. Well, I'll hit the big 5-0 next summer. Not this summer, next summer. That's when you put a fork in me and I'm done. I don't want to hear that crap. 50 is the new 20 or any of that shit. Yeah, see, I don't care about birthdays or years. I don't care about holidays, honestly. Like, I've had a couple friends and family, like, what are you doing for your 50th birthday? I'm like, nothing. I don't give a crap. I'd rather just go to a comic book show during the year, whenever they have them, than care about my birthday or anything like that. So I've always been that way. My cousin wanted to go skydiving for his 50th last year, but it didn't work out. I would have went again because I did skydiving probably around 2015, I think it was. But his knee is shot, and I was like, you know, I don't really think you should do it. I'm like, you should have did it when we went back in 2015, but his wife wouldn't let him do it. But got that off my bucket list. Skydiving was great. I should have did it more when I was younger. Now I don't think I could do it with my back and shoulder. But that was a lot of fun. Butterfly, you're still young. Why don't you go skydiving? Do it for your 80th. If you make it to 80, do it for your 80th. This way, if you go out in style. That's what I want to do. Scuba diving, I think I did, I never really did scuba diving per se. Even though I'm born in June and I'm a Cancer sign for water, I'm not really into the water stuff. I'd rather do like skydiving or like a roller coaster, stuff like that. Scuba diving's not, kind of not really, I don't have sea legs, I guess you could say. Not really into it. Like, I could go into a pool, but I mean, growing up as a kid, I was at the pool all the time, but now I'd rather do something more crazy. I can see Butterfly getting in the water, go scuba diving, go out to sea and never be seen again. Just be like, screw it, I'm done. I'm out. Leave like George Costanza, leave on a high note. That seal just wanted to hang out with you. It's probably like, who the hell is this dude swimming in my area for fish? Could have made yourself a friend. Actually, it's funny you mentioned the seal. I watched I think it was a month or two ago. I was watching some videos on YouTube where these guys rush after seals and they save the ones that got the nets on their bodies. And then the one I saw was like a baby seal was chilling on the guy's lap there for a while. It's funny, the seals are running away thinking they're going to get attacked, but they're just trying to run to save them. It's funny. I've been watching a lot of the fish and wildlife videos on YouTube where they get arrested for overfishing and poachers and stuff. A lot of poachers out there. I'm actually shocked. Yeah, he's just wanted to hang out with you. It was give you a little kiss and wish you a happy birthday. I saw one video where stupid lady, well, not a lady actually, it was a young girl going up to a sea lion to go take a picture, and that thing almost ripped her friggin' nose off. There was also that one dumbass who went up to a bobcat and went to take a selfie with it, and she got attacked. Did you guys see that one? Like, don't get me wrong, when I was younger I liked to see wildlife, but I wasn't dumb enough to go up and try to take pictures or like pet them, you know? Some people just have no, I don't know, just natural selection is just kind of kicking in, I guess. Yeah, see, my luck, if I was the one that went snorkeling, I'd be the one that be, like, have the shark following me, you know? That would be my luck. And that's why I wouldn't do it. But then again, my luck is going skydiving and do a tandem jump with the guy, and the guy's, like, falling asleep or passes out on the way down, you know? I know my luck and my boundaries. No, I didn't see the sea lion one. But like I said, I saw the one where the bobcat ripped the girl's face apart. I also saw the one where I think it's in Canada, where all these vacationers were there and they got out of their cars to look at the moose, and the thing charged them all. You know? And then the old lady screaming like it's like the animal's fault or something. It's like, you dumbass, it's a wild animal. What did you think was going to happen? I think it's the selfie generation, and it's also the Karen generation too. These Karens think they can befriend all the animals. Which is never a good idea. I mean, even growing up as a kid, you like even you see a stray dog or somebody's dog, you usually would be like, is the dog friendly, you know, or get used to it. You don't just run up to a dog and start petting it. Yeah, it's a weird generation of people that have no self awareness. Like even when I'm out walking and I see somebody with a dog, I don't rush up to them and say ooh and just pet the dog. I always like, if the dog comes up to me, I always ask the owner, is the dog friendly? You know, because I don't want to just pet the dog and get bit. And if they say yes or, you know, whatever, then it's a different story. But I just don't like trust animals up front right away. I'd have to look up some of the buffalo ones. I think there's another story. I sort of was listening to it on YouTube, but I was like in and out of the garage. You know, like those red pandas. They're not like super. You know, not everything is cuddly. So I think a girl got attacked by the red panda because she thought it was like a little teddy bear or something. And I think they're mostly over in China, right? The red pandas, or is it Japan? Of course, I think it was a tourist that got attacked, as always. Is it tigers, Devastator, or is it bobcats? Because I know there's bobcats in I think they're kind of here in Jersey a little bit, at least in the woods areas, I think. China, yeah, like the red pandas are not like super. I don't know. Everybody thinks just because it's got fur and they think it's like a you know. Like even when I go for my walks down to the bay, like in the sun, like now this time of the year, there's this one guy that walks his dog there too, but he has a chain around the dog, and it's like around its neck. It's not even like a leash, and the way the dog like tries to run away from him and like go after people, I'm always like, that dog is gonna kill somebody. You know, it's like if you're walking a dog with a chain, there's something wrong there. I think at least in my area, we don't have that many animals, but we do, I do know I get a lot of skunks every once in a while, because you could smell them at night wandering around, and you can always see them sort of like hit on the road. But the only problem with like skunks and like possums is they get like rabies, and that's when you definitely don't want to get attacked by them. Yeah, I've seen some videos where mountain lions like go into people's backyards and snag dogs. I guess it's probably around the Arizona, California area. I saw one where a dog was barking, and all of a sudden this mountain lion came over the fence, snagged the dog, and ran away. And that was it. You never saw the dog again. You know, those little tiny white dogs. Sadly, if you have a dog like that and there's a mountain lion problem, you want to be with the dog. Yeah, but that would be scary, walking outside to take out the trash and the next thing you see is a friggin' mountain lion staring at you, you know? I saw one video where a guy was hiking and he was going to the bathroom, and then all of a sudden there was just a mountain lion staring at him. He had no clue it was next to him, you know? So he's going to the bathroom and there's just this mountain lion staring. Luckily he didn't get attacked, but still. I don't know, people will do anything for that TikTok video. I think running is the worst option, actually. I think the best option is kind of like try to scare it off and sound intimidating. Because trying to run is kind of a sign that you're prey. Yeah, people have no sense of survival skills anymore. They're not taught at a young age because, you know, they see TikToks and they think, oh yeah, everything is just dandy, you know? I know when I was at a young age, my father taught me not to trust dogs, you know, be very careful, you gotta understand dogs, you can't, you know, not every dog is friendly, blah, 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 all that stuff, you know? But I guess nowadays, people are like, okay, with that being said, I like the skirt. I gotta sand it down though. It's still pretty rough. So what I'll do is I'm gonna like sand it down, kind of create a little bit more curves. Probably go back in and rework wrinkles. Definitely gonna have to like shave the bottom of it off a little bit and around. shave off a little bit here as well. I could see that butterfly. I could see that. Especially, cows are big and gators are always creeping around. But, yeah, still more to go on the skirt. I kind of like the length of it. I'll take it down a bit, you know. I'm going to have to, because I'm going to have to do the inside too a little bit and clean it up in there. But as far as like the upper area is kind of the focus. But you definitely got to sand more on the skirt. It's still really rough, but we'll get there. Detail it up a little bit more. I think what's going to happen too is some of the areas I sand, some of that wireframe might pull out, so I might have to kind of over sand a bit, pull out the frame, and then put more aves onto it. Because like, you know, like this area here is coming out too much, so I'm going to want to bring this in a bit. Like this area is coming out too much, I'm going to bring this in a little bit more. Same thing with this here and here. So it'll kind of come in a little bit more. And like over here, I'm going to sand this down a bit, because this is coming out too much. Same thing with this. Like this area, I'm gonna have to fill in with some aves and bring it. It's gonna get chopped up and brought down, chopped up and brought down. So like here, I'm gonna sand this one down a bit. So a little bit more here and there to go on it. It's a good start. But like underneath is where it's going to be kind of a pain in the ass to clean up underneath of there. So I'll definitely probably have to. It's going to take some work. But you want to make sure you get the booty shot, whoever looks at it. So. Yeah, so it's just a sanding session. I think by next week, hopefully we could detail it up a little bit more. Kind of fudge it a bit here and there. You know, it's kind of funny you said that, Raz. They say there's 8.3 billion people on the planet, but the funny thing is, didn't they say, like, all the people in America could fit in the state of New York and still be comfortable? Like, the whole state. Like, if you were to put everybody in the whole state. And the other thing, too, is the United States is way larger than the UK. But on the map, it makes it seem like the United States is, like, smaller. But, yeah, I think they're just lying, you know? You know what it is I think we have enough people on the planet, they just got rid of all the farmlands. If we got the farmlands back, and we let people produce food locally, everybody would be fine. But that's the problem, is they're stopping all the farmlands. Yeah, they can offload. If this planet is going to burn, I'll sit outside and wait for it to burn. Screw it. I'm going down with the ship. I'm okay with that. You don't have to bring me to another planet and deal with any of this bullshit. Well, now that Bill Gates got outed out with the Epstein files, I don't think he's buying up the farmlands anymore. Yeah, that's pretty much it. They if the people are united, then they're going to be scared. That's why they pit everybody against each other. That's why you see all the young people are flipping out over politics every day of their lives, because that's what the elite want. They want the young generation focused on stupid agendas, where if they all banded together, the elites wouldn't be able to do anything. Now watch, my YouTube channel is going to go down now. They're like, uh-oh, we can't have that guy in Jersey talking about this stuff. If you guys don't hear from me again, you know why. Alright? Keep my story alive. Yeah, it's true, Terrell. They probably already have the next planet situated. You know? They're probably all ready. I still say that they always say truth is stranger than fiction. And I still say they're not telling us exactly what this planet is and how big it is and, you know, really what's going on. You know. When they claim that there's an asteroid coming and they all tell us to get on these spaceships or blah blah blah, that means they're just harvesting the humans. Soylent Green, that's what it is. What was it? What was that movie where they had it was the asteroid was coming and they had you got like they were going to put everybody in the bunker that was like all the teachers and the historians and all that, but then they had like the lotto of all the regular people to go in. Be funny if they did that and they put me in there. I'd be like, no, you guys don't want me in that bunker with you. I'll be like, yeah, I'll sell my ticket. I'll sell my ticket, go down to the bay, sit there in a lawn chair and wait for it to end. Alright, well I think that's it. I'm done for today. I think I'm just gonna get this sanded up, and then I think next week we'll detail it up, and then I'll finish working on this desk next week. And then after that I just gotta get that chair done. I gotta get that peach chair printed out. Still haven't done that yet. But we're getting closer to start painting everything. Getting close. But, alright, that's where I'm going to call it for tonight, because I got to get ready for tomorrow. Got to get some stuff situated. But you guys have a good rest of your weekend, okay?